concludes split number 1 of the DCL Grand Prix for 2023. It's race day 18. It's time to get these 10 teams battling it out for those last spots at our live finals. Welcome to the Drone Champions League. I'm Matt Andrews, and you're joining us here on the final race day. We have Xblades Racing from the UK at the top, Quad Force 1 from America in second place. They're going to be battling it out, see who gets the number 1 seed to our live finals. Xblades turn up with Star 23467, Yayu, Drobot, and Sali1, a team who've scored a lot of points with this lineup this season. Their opponents, it's Quad Force 1. The American team bring in Burkan, their captain Propsicle, Heads Up FPV, and Proximo. Both of these teams will be through to our live finals, along with the teams from 3rd down to 6th. The teams in 5th and 6th will start in the elimination zone. They can only lose 1 race before they're eliminated. The teams in the top 4, they all get 2 lives. And of course, the team in the number 1 seed, they get a slightly easier first round. So that's the position they're fighting for. The match coming up is, as always, a duel set as a best of 7. We'll start off with 1 pilot versus 1, then we'll have 2 races where there are 2 pilots versus 2, then the all-in big heat in race 4 where all 4 pilots from each team will race each other, and then 2v2s and a 1v1 to settle it if we get to the end of this best of 7. The track they're going to be battling on and around and over is Laax in Switzerland, the beautiful snowboarding and snow park with this incredible castle structure in the middle of it. This is where we started our real-life racing season in 2019. We love flying it virtually as well. As you can see, lots of twists at the beginning, over this and up and over a ramp before a dive through a whole tunnel in the middle, and then the first of our little straightaways, a left-hand turn through that DCL gate, and then another one. Some of our pilots prefer to swing quite wide here. Then you head up, don't take the ramp, take the Torval gate instead, around this snow blower that we're borrowing. Then there's a slalom between some pylons, a Zurich Switzerland gate, and then a split S here, over the top and then back through it, and a left swing to head towards the half pipe, the biggest half pipe in Europe, no less. We're using that for a slalom, past this cable car lift, and then this is the Galaxy building. Now we've seen pilots approach that turn in completely different ways, so we'll see some of that imminently. You go around it 3 times, and then you head straight on to a finish gate. Let's do this! Let's go racing, everybody! Xblades against Quad Force 1, with the opening 1v1 featuring Yayu from Xblades in light blue, and the captain of Quad Force 1, it's Propsicle in the dark blue. Now, these pilots have been the standout performers for their respective teams, so we should expect this to be very close, and it's Propsicle just ahead of Yayu as they're coming back through the castle. There's that 180 turn. And then we go over the top of it and dive down through the hole. Yayu makes a nice little move into a turn and goes a bit wider here on the first of the 2 gates. No problem, but he's still 0.2 of a second behind Propsicle, who's a little bit more direct through the Torval gate, around the blower, and then the slalom coming up into the Zurich gate and the split S. Let's see how they do. They're both low. Had to gain a little bit of altitude to get through the Zurich gate. Yayu is aggressively swinging his drone wildly, but then he goes a little bit smoother through the slalom, which is good. Now, how do our routes approach here? Yayu a bit higher than Propsicle. It means he's got to dive down a little bit more to make it under the exit of the Galaxy building. He's within 1/10 of a second of Propsicle, and that corner was cut extremely finely. Now let's see if they stay this close together all the way around and through the castle. They are at the moment, 1/1000 of a second between them. This 180 is good. Up and over, down through the tunnel. Propsicle rotates into it and stays in the lead. It's very close between him and Yayu. It's only 0.04 of a second. Yayu trying to go a bit faster through that gate. Now to the Torval one, then into the twisting section. First there's this big spin around the blower. All very close to the pylons, but Yayu's still alive. The split S is good there, side by side flying here. Yayu and Propsicle, it's 1/1000 of a second between them again. Now to the building. Now Propsicle stayed down last time, and he does it again, and that keeps him low here, but Yayu has moved in front of him. His different route over the top around the same pylon has given him a little bit of an advantage there. It's 0.2 of a second the other way. Yayu on the 3rd lap, just ahead of Propsicle. We're going to be examining that Galaxy turn again and again. And right now, let's make sure they can all get out of the castle, cleanly threading everything and not getting tangled up. Propsicle comes in slightly differently to Yayu and has managed to take 1/10 of a second back. It's exactly 0.009 between them now. Oh, so close. Torval gate All good. Around this blur, you think this should be fine. Propsicle a little higher than Yayu, trying to get on the inside of him through all of these turns. Does manage to get on the inside of him in the split S, but it's still got Yayu just in front of him now. This is where it's going to get settled. Propsicle going to stay down. Yayu going to go over. There's a turn here you have to make. They both got it, but Yayu has cut across him again. The straight run to the finish. Propsicle can probably do nothing about it. Its opening point is Xblades. Wow. What a thrilling encounter this matchup is going to be. As expected, the rivalry between Xblades and Quad Force 1 has been running every season since 2018, and it's no different this year. Yayu spent most of that first lap behind Propsicle. It was only the Galaxy building right at the end of it where Yayu managed to make a bit of a difference against Propsicle. And then Propsicle managed to keep with him at the end of laps 2 and 3. Yayu didn't manage to get any further ahead. Here they are, so close together, through the slalom. And then Yayu's going to go up. Propsicle's going to stay down. And you can go over the top of the building so long as you make it between those two pylons. And you've got no sight of them at all if you go over the top of the building. So you've really got to find that line and nail it. Propsicle doing what a lot of pilots are doing and flying directly between them. Yayu flying over them. So long as you're between the apexes of the pylons, it's completely legal. You'll see here with Yayu, when you're this high, you can't see the pylons you need to fly between, so you've got to get it exactly right. And then the dive down from that is tricky to make it under the Galaxy building too. Arguably, better to do what Propsicle did, but Yayu managed to pull it off. Look how close these pilots were to each other on the run-up to it. But then we'll see it here as well as Yayu goes up and over. Yayu in light blue is between those pylons, but has no sight of them at all. Yayu comes in for the first of the 2v2s alongside Drobot, and it's Heads Up and Proximo on the other side for Quad Force 1. And those pairings are decided before the racing begins, so you don't know who you're up against, and they don't change it based on performances or anything like that. We're on board with Proximo ahead of his teammate Heads Up, 2 Xblades pilots in front of him, 1 and 2 pylons. That was tight. Yes, he's gone back to make sure he made it. I think he may have just fractionally undercut it. That sent him to the back, but his teammate Heads Up is 0.3 of a second behind the leader at the moment. Still Xblades in 1 and 2. Yayu, 0.05 of a second ahead of his teammate Drobot. Then it's Heads Up, and then Proximo is too far behind to be challenging them at this stage. The Split S, good by all of these pilots. Now up the half pipe, and then we're getting to the Galaxy building. Will Heads Up stay down like Propsicle was doing, or is he going to try and go over the top like Yayu is? I think he's following Xblades, making the turn. Here comes the duck, and they're all good. But somehow Heads Up has lost half a second, maybe a little bit of hesitation in picking his route. That means Yayu over a second clear ahead of him now. Drobot half a second behind Yayu. He's really got that route over the top nailed down. Or he's just taking a ginormous risk and cutting it as tightly as he dares. Either way, he's making it work. Heads Up has lost another half a second. Where's he going? Proximo has lost 2 more seconds on him. This is getting worse for Quad Force 1. We're on the middle of lap number 2, but the gap is really big now. You can see Heads Up coming into the snowblower turn, and then he's going to chase them towards the Split S, but it's 1.5 seconds between him and Yayu.
2 second gap now, keep it consistent.
You can hear Star, their teammate, letting them know the performance in the race so far, giving them an idea that you don't have to go too dangerously, too on the edge. We'd rather you just made this get home. 1 more lap to complete. Yayu ahead of Drobot. Heads Up over a second behind Drobot now. This is surely a point for Xblades. Back into the castle, then a hard 180 turn to go through here. Then swing over, under, and back over the top. Here's his route down through the hole in the middle with Drobot still 0.8 behind him. Let's take a look at Heads Up. He's got vision of both of those Xblades pilots. It doesn't look like he's that far behind, but in drone racing terms, well, 1.8 seconds is a lot to do. He's going to have to throw caution to the wind here and try and gain on them. He's cutting every corner. That one too much. He's down. He'll recover it and fly on, but Xblades are away.
Just finish this lap. It's last lap.
Star keeping them in check. Drobot and Yayu well ahead of Quad Force 1. Yayu's going to get his second win of the day. Drobot will come in almost a second behind him.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Nice one, guys.
Nice.
Easy.
And in come Quad Force 1. Don't want to forget about that race. Yayu will be happy to get another win for his collection in Split 1 of this year. Early on, could have been anybody's. Yayu pushes through to the front. Second pass through the castle, and it stays there for the rest of the race. Really seems to have hit his stride around here in Laax. Now Proximo, well, he did the right thing after he'd done the wrong thing. The right thing is to make sure you made all the turns. The wrong thing is to miss it in the first place. He's alright around the first pylon, but the second one, just inside. So he had to go back and do it again. That cost him a few seconds. Top down, you'll see it a little clearer. That one's good. No, so close though, Proximo. So close. Heads up's chase later on in that same lap. It's where he just lost a little bit more ground here, perhaps not being sure whether to go over or under. He went over. Perhaps he'd heard from Propsicle after the first race that Yayu was making that line work. It looked like Heads Up had done a great job of it as well, and yet he still managed to lose some time there. This is where he crashed on lap number 3, desperately trying to catch the two pilots from Xblades. The turn is okay, but he hits the hanging seat of the cable car, and that sends him to the snow. Yayu runs ahead of Drobot to his second point of the day. Now their teammates come in at Star 23467 and Sali 1 against Propsicle and Birkin. So in the second of the 2v2s, we see the pilots who didn't race in the first of the 2v2s. Propsicle, of course, had a race earlier on in the opening 1v1, so he's got a little bit more experience around this track, and he finds himself at the moment in the lead of 4 very tightly packed drones as they're weaving their way through the castle and heading out to get on with it. Propsicle on 47 wins for the team this season. Our number 1 scorer out of all of the pilots in Split 1 of 2023. This is his teammate Birkan, who's 0.6 of a second behind him at the moment. The two Xblades drones in between the pair of them. Birkan attacking, dipping a bit early and getting the top of the Split S and getting stuck there. You have to go over it and then turn around and fly back underneath it. That hasn't worked for him. Here's Sully choosing late to go over the top and getting completely lost. That is not how you take that route around the top. You've got to be sure of that line and find it. And maybe having seen Yayu doing it earlier on, he went for it and then realised how difficult it is. That's a mistake for Sully. That's put him behind Birkan. It's still Birkan's teammate Propsicle who's out in front, but we're on board with Star 23467. Thomas Kund of Germany racing for Xblades, and a very, very good pilot right on Propsicle's tail. Just drifted over a little bit to try and improve his line into that gate. Around the blower, he'll try and get on the inside here. Good early pre-turn. Not really gaining on Propsicle yet, but he's got a lap and a half in which to do it. Oh, he's hit the same thing Birkan has and come out of it worse. Oh, he's lost ages there. 2 seconds. Propsicle can go what might be the longer but safer route around the back of the Galaxy building and away. He'll start lap number 3 right now and has got the castle all to himself. 2.2 seconds ahead of Star. As long as Propsicle can fly as well as he's been showing us all season, this will be his 48th point. Maybe speaking a little bit too soon. There's a few things that could trip him up first. As he crosses out of the castle, he sees pilots still making their way around it. Star's still 2.2 seconds behind him. A big gap without much time to do anything about it. Propsicle's just going to make sure he doesn't make it easy for Star. Doesn't want to make any mistakes now. He's close to that girder, but all safe. He can't afford to hit anything now, as Star will give anything to catch him. Propsicle the long way round, but through the pylons. It's all good. It's all clean. He crosses over Sully 1, who's 7.6 seconds behind him, and Propsicle's going to make it 2-1.
You got it.
Easy.
Star comes in. Now they're waiting for Birkin.
Let's go, baby. Yeah.
Nice. Woo. Let's go, baby.
It's alright. It's alright. It's alright.
It's alright. That's nothing, guys. Sorry, guys.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
Propsicle makes it 2-1. Isn't it great to see how the teams are supporting their pilots? Xblades telling Sully, it's alright, don't worry about it. Quad Force 1 were willing Birkan to recover from that and stay in 3rd place. That little bump was on the first lap. He also crashed here. And here comes Sully 1 over the top. But as I said, it's so difficult if you don't know exactly where to fly, and he doesn't make it between the pylons. He undercut the first one, and then he had to go back and complete that turn. That cost him some time. Star on his route over to Split S turns too soon. Dips before he's flown past it. Had to recover and fly out of there. Now Propsicle on the 3rd lap. Well, he's just all the way home. So it's big heat time in the DCL. All 8 pilots racing at the same time. And it's 2-1 to Xblades in light blue at the moment. So Propsicle would love to get another win. And he's in the lead. No, Drobot's just slipped past him. Propsicle slips past him. 4 of Xblades pilots all chasing Propsicle. Behind them, it's Heads Up, Proximo and Burkan. Let's see what Yayu can do. He's been doing so well today. 2 wins already for Xblades, and he's desperately chasing Propsicle. 0.08 of a second between them. Yayu and Drobot just switching places now. Nothing really between the two of them, but it's Propsicle who's still out in front. Star currently in 4th. Let's see his view of everybody who's in front of him. Oh, the blower turn has wrecked him. Star all the way to the back. Slow recovery from there. He's making the split S now, and everybody else has passed him. At the front, it's still Propsicle and Drobot, but Yayu has dropped back down into 5th place. Here we see his chase. He's with Sally 1. He's got a gain on Propsicle. Drobot has got him extremely close. Really nothing between Drobot and Propsicle. Here's Star, who's missed the turn, missed the exit. Had to go back for it. That's lost him even more time. Drobot and Propsicle, though, are still side by side. They rise over, they duck under, they head to the top tunnel and go through that. Propsicle's caught in the hole. Oh, that's a surprise. Now he's down in 4th, and he's 0.8 of a second behind Drobot in the lead. That's Sully just beating him to the Torval gate. Weaving around the blower. He's managed to get on the inside of Sully. Now he's got Yayu to contend with, and he's gaining on him, and then Drobot is just ahead of him too. Up the slalom we go. Propsicle now in 3rd. Drobot and Yayu go over. Propsicle goes round. Sully goes round it as well after he messed up the route over it earlier. Propsicle still in 3rd, but he's lost a little bit more time on Drobot. This is lap number 3. We're on board with Yayu, who's just taken the lead from Drobot, and Drobot's just slipped inside him again. Such a good scrap between them, and Propsicle needs to get involved. Out through the castle. Then we're heading up to the climb before diving through the hole that caught Propsicle out earlier on. He's lost another couple of tenths of a second. Yayu has managed to slip past Drobot, but this is the chase from Quad Force 1, who's right with him. Through the Torval gate. Swing around the blower. And get this chase on. He's running out of race to make this a point for Quad Force 1 instead of a 3-1 lead for Xblades. Not much he can do along the half pipe. He's going to have to take some risks around the back of the Galaxy building. Yayu and Drobot have gone over, and they're getting away from him again because they can fly that line, and it doesn't seem that Propsicle knows it. Yayu's going to get a 3rd.
Let's go.
Let's go, Spawn!
Let's go.
Yeah,
I crashed.
I tried to just go crazy on the first lap, and then I let it.
Oh my
But
god.
at the end.
I crashed.
Dude. Job.
Oh my word, you.
Oh,
Crap, same
dude,
freaking time?
We
What?
try.
Propsicle's astonished by the times. Yayu will be happy with his and the point that comes with it. His teammate Star got caught on this turn, but managed, nevertheless, after hitting the snow, to carry on in the right direction. And was alright on the split S there, but bumped into it later. Propsicle was weaving nicely around this part of the course on lap number 1. Then heading to the Galaxy building, he's in the lead by 0.02 of a second over Drobot. He goes the slightly longer, safer way round. Drobot jumps back in front of him. Later on lap number 2, still a really good battle between them for the lead, but Propsicle crashes here on the way down through that hole. Again, another really good recovery. Drobot on lap number 3, racing with Yayu for the finish. I mean, that is about as tight as you could take that line without missing the turn. Nevertheless, Yayu stayed in front of him, and the point is theirs. So, Sully and Drobot step up now, and it's Heads Up and Burkan. You have to change the pairings if we get past the 4th race of the best of 7 and go into more 2v2s. So that's why we're seeing these pairs of pilots now. Sully's not been flying as quickly around Laax as Drobot and Yayu have been doing for Xblades. And Heads Up and Burkan, not as quick as Propsicle has been either. So this is an interesting little battle. You'd think Drobot is going to run off and win this one, but Heads Up, he's capable of giving a really strong chase, and everybody's within half a second of each other as we're about midway through lap number 1. All weaving around the snowblower with no problems. Let's see how the split S might shake things up. Hey, it's good for everybody. Into the slalom. 0.6 of a second between all 4 pilots. This is great racing. Heads Up right with Sully 1 now. Bit of a mixture of going over and round, sort of half and half. He's in second. Sully is right with him. That place keeps switching back and forth. There's Sully dipping in front of him again. Drobot half a second ahead of the pair of them into the castle. Burkan not too far behind in fourth. Drobot comes out, swings round, leads heads up, and Sully back through the other 180, and then we'll go over the top and down through the hole. And Drobot 5/10 ahead, heads up. Just sees him now on the Zurich, Switzerland turn. He's just going to drift over to the right to carve through this and try and keep some more speed going. And he's trying to move up on Drobot, but actually he's losing fractions of a second here and there. Drobot has really got this dialed in. Heads up's not giving himself much room to spare. That is very tight around the end of the split S and then weaving around the girder. And he's all right, but he's still half a second behind Drobot. Now here comes the choice. It's up and over. Not as quick as it could be over the top. Still with some visibility and still 6/10 of a second to catch Drobot. One lap to do it in. Now we'll head to the castle. Drobot then heads up, and then Sully one has slipped a little bit further behind him, and Burkan a couple of seconds away from the action at the front. Heads up, follows Drobot through the castle. Just lost another 10th of a second or so. Down through the tunnel at the top and heads out. He's going to swing a little bit further over to try and carry speed through the Zurich, Switzerland gate. He's lost another 10th of a second. Drobot is obviously flying this as cleanly as he can up in front because it doesn't look like Heads Up can do anything about the gap that's between them. He's trying to move now. It's getting a little bit wilder. He's bumped off of there. He's hit the Zurich, Switzerland gate, and that stopped him and sent him around, and Sully one has passed him, and that's surely over. With one turn left to go, Heads Up is in third. Sully one's ahead of him. Drobot is out in front. It's going to be 4-1 to Xblades, giving them the win here. And first place in the season.
Let's go, baby.
Let's go!
Nice one, Drobot.
Oh.
Yeah.
1-2 guys, GG.
Oh, so happy I got that out.
Damn, nice time as well.
Nice try.
Fork.
Good racing, everybody.
Dude, that's intense.
Yeah. All good, all good.
Drobot wins out that race. A great chase by Heads Up to try and catch him, but that's the 4th point that Xblades needed. Here we see the action in the middle of lap number 1, when everybody was pretty close to each other and Heads Up was battling alongside Sully 1. Around the Galaxy building, looks like Yayu's lines over the top suited Drobot. Sully wasn't so sure about them. Remember, he had a bit of a problem doing that run earlier. Here's Sully one again, when he was still in second place, just ahead of Heads Up. He went around, as did both of the pilots of Quad Force 1, but Drobot went over the top and gained quite a bit of time on everybody. Here's Heads Up getting tangled up in the 3rd lap. This is where Quad Force 1's battle came to an end. Such a strong chase from them throughout. But Drobot was too far ahead, I think, for Heads Up to have caught him, even if he hadn't crashed there. Sully one, of course, managed to pass Heads Up, but just got stuck on that little bit of a turn after the split S. Just took it a bit too soon. Thankfully for him, Heads Up had a bigger crash, and so didn't manage to take him for 3rd. Sully one came in 2nd. Drobot was comfortably ahead of all of them. Congratulations to Xblades. 4-1 over their rivals Quad Force 1. Yayu getting 3 of the points, Drobot getting the 4th. Elsewhere, SDT beat Haven, Alpha Prop Racing lost to Raiden, Mach 1 lost to the DCL Wildcard team, and China Dragons got a 4-0 win over their close rivals Cyclone Racing. After 18 race days, Xblades Racing from the UK come out as the #1 seed with an incredible 17 wins from 18 matchups. Congratulations to them. Congratulations also to Quad Force 1, Raiden Racing, China Dragons, Cyclone Racing, and STT Perpetuum Coin, as they have all qualified for our split finals. Cyclone Racing and STT Perpetuum Coin, 5th and 6th, they'll start in the elimination zone, where if you lose one race, you are out. The other 4 teams will start off in the main round and want to stay out of that elimination zone. Who will be the split champion? We'll find out very soon, and before that, we'll see you in the skies.